everyone, I'm Vasudha Agarwal and I lead InMobi's Asia Pacific business. Welcome to this year's Building Resilient Brands edition, the indisputable magic of mobile. Over the next hour or so, we will be discussing the mobile trends and opportunities that will define the year ahead for India's ad land. 2021 was a tale of two halves for India's advertising ecosystem. In the background of the pandemic, digital channels and more so mobile became the lifeline of consumers and marketing organizations alike as they sought to meaningfully connect with the world around them. Simultaneously, data streams that helped build rich experiences for users who have come to expect immersive and personalized journeys came under the scanner. Advertisers across the nation continue to focus on being in lockstep with their consumers who are now exploring digital avenues at an unprecedented pace. And while there has been great buzz about the possibility of metaverse, the truth is that there is an entire generation of consumers already living in a version of this reality. Be it shopping on apps to meet their daily needs, watching the latest movies in the palm of their hands, or gaming to connect with their virtual communities. Indians have embraced their digital lives. Around the globe, there has been an indisputable increase in a number of things. The first is app downloads, the second is the time spent on mobile, and third is consumer spending on mobile. While the pandemic has catalyzed several trends, the most noticeable is the transition to a mobile-first world at a pace that is unprecedented. The world added 222 million new internet users in a year since October 2020, which means almost 600,000 new users on average each day. This has led to the creation of the hyper-connected consumer dominion through mobile apps. Today, we are seeing users across the globe spend 4.3 hours per day on their handheld devices and have spent over $135 billion on the App Store in 2021. Naturally, marketers are also responding to this trend, with mobile ad spends reaching nearly $370 billion. The mobile economy has witnessed an unparalleled growth in 2020. India has one of the largest internet user bases in the world, which is only set to increase rapidly in the coming years. This has been made possible by access to affordable smartphones, the cheapest network data tariffs in the world, and improving mobile internet speeds. As of Q2 2021, India's total internet user base was 810 million users. Exactly a year ago, this stood at 726 million, indicating an 11.5% growth year on year. Today, India accounts for nearly 17% of the world's internet users. As a mobile-first consumer economy, India continued to be the largest market after China with App Store and Google Play Store installs, surpassing 7 billion downloads in a quarter for the fourth time. According to the Ericsson Mobility Report 2021, India's average data consumption per smartphone was the second highest in the world at 14.8 GB per month. This is a good 60% higher than the global average of 9 GB per month and a growth of over 20% since 2019 when consumption was 12 GB per month on average. The average daily hours spent per device grew, amounting to a total of 4.8 hours per day. But what exactly are Indians doing online? Let's take a deeper look at that. India is home to almost 1 out of 10 gamers across the globe and is the fifth largest mobile gaming market across the world. According to some estimates, 44% of India's smartphone population will be playing games on their devices by 2022. Gaming has now achieved escape velocity in India, competing with other popular entertainment categories such as short-form videos, streaming services, and social networks for user attention. But as we take a closer look at who is driving this growth, it's definitely a good time to let go of any archaic notions that gaming is popular among young adult males. The shift in behavior is interesting to observe as women across India take to gaming with great enthusiasm. Gaming has become increasingly popular across ages and gender, defying old school conventions. Nearly 52% of India's women gamers live in metros, while 29% live in small towns, with gaming now clearly becoming the new face of entertainment for women across India. While 25% of these women gamers fit within the age group of 25 to 34 years, 32% of the users are married with children. The top 5 women mobile gaming epicenters in India were Delhi NCR, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Karnataka, and Andhra and Telangana. Interestingly, the western part of India showed 25.3% share of downloads, holding the largest share of game downloads in Q1 2021. The top 5 apps with most downloads in this region were Ludo King, Garena Free Fire Evolution, Candy Crush Saga, Winzo, and PUBG. When we tried to understand India's female gamers a little bit better, 3 types of users were observed in this pandemic, which included committed gamers, regular gamers, and occasional gamers. Committed gamers account for 77% of all women mobile gamers, and they play once to several times in a day, while regular gamers play at least once a week, and occasional gamers play once a month or less. Within these committed women gamers, the study recorded a 38% increase in time spent and a 33% increase in the variety of games played in 2021. The relative convenience of playing games on smartphones anywhere, anytime is an advantage not just for Indian women, but even for marketeers trying to connect with them. Despite the internet penetration in urban areas being more than 2x that of non-urban areas, users outside of urban India have been growing at a faster pace on a year-on-year basis, from 15% internet penetration in 2015 to 32% in 2020. Non-urban Indians are coming to the digital front lines very quickly. While internet users grew by only 4% in urban India, reaching about 323 million users in 2020, digital adoption continues to be propelled by non-urban India, which registered a 13% growth in internet users over the past year. With a sizable population not accessing the internet actively in non-urban India, there is a huge headroom for growth in the next few years in this part of the population. In 2016, only 20% of rural internet users understood the benefits of the internet, but today that number stands at 80%. But how did this shift happen? The growth in digital adoption has been spurred by the country's top telcos who are expanding their mobile user bases outside urban regions in recent months. Together, they have added 4.3 million rural subscribers between June and August 2020. Post-lockdown, rural mobile data usage for the big 3 telcos grew by 30 to 35% in the June quarter, which was much sharper than the estimated 15 to 20% rise in urban data usage. Multiple initiatives, both private and public, are leading to digitize rural India and solve the last mile mobile challenges. The first among these is the Government of India's initiative Digital India program in 2015 to bridge the gap between urban and rural internet users. The aim was to ensure that government services were made available to citizens electronically by improving online infrastructure and increasing internet connectivity. Through initiatives such as Bheem UPI, DigiLocker, Smart Cities, and Government e-Marketplace, the government is encouraging faceless, cashless, and paperless governance. The Bharat Net program undertook the task of connecting 2.5 lakh gram panchayats by fiber optic network and has achieved around 1.4 lakh connections thus far. The mobile-led penetration and adoption of the internet in rural areas will blur the divide between urban and non-urban areas in almost all aspects. And as this ever-growing Indian digitization story unfolds, all eyes will be on the non-urban connected consumer. According to BCG, around 20% of new users were added to the category of online shoppers during the lockdown. Not only did more people start shopping online, but existing customers increased their online spending by 45%. This also meant an increase in the average number of categories bought online, increasing from 4 to 6 per user. Some categories, such as fresh food and staples, witnessed an uptick in new users as high as 40 to 50%. I'm sure all of you would have heard multiple instances how an m-commerce delivery, once unavailable beyond certain pin codes in India, is now shipping to the most interior towns and villages across the country. With challenges on reach and accessibility addressed by India's leading mobile commerce players, a new era of show and tell has occupied the imagination of consumers today. The shoppertainment or tele-shopping format of the bygone era is currently taking over the digital world. Termed as live commerce, it refers to shopping streamed live. Backed by changing consumer preferences, content consumption patterns, and technological developments, this market is expected to reach $4 to $5 billion by 2025 in India alone. There are a few reasons why consumers are taking to this innovative format, such as the instant gratification that they get from the experience, the differentiated and versatile and entertaining nature of the experiences of live shopping, and the heightened trust that they place in the influencers who are streaming and showcasing the products. To help us understand more about these changes and opportunities, I'd like to invite my colleague and friend Mansi Jain to share her thoughts.
Thank you, Vasudha, for the introduction. Hi everyone, I'm Mansi Jain. I'm the Vice President and General Manager at Reposo. In my session today, I will be talking about the world of live e-commerce and showcase a live demo so you can see it in action. We also have with us one of our top live streamers today to share his perspective on the world of live entertainment commerce. As brands, all of us are truly looking to understand and engage with the new generation, the Gen Z, who are truly digital natives. Along with a lot of uncertainty, the pandemic also brought in tow a shift in the way this audience shops. Gen Z particularly loves acting on impulse. They see something they like, they are hooked on instantly. 97% of Gen Z consumers claim that social media is the place they go for social inspiration. That's where live e-commerce comes to play, providing users the unique combination of entertainment with shopping, giving authentic and interactive experiences. One that combines fun, shopping, and entertainment all together. This is sure to pique Gen Z's interest. And trust me, we want them on our side because they are the generation who are changing things. They are the Gen now. Gen Z consumers are vastly different from other generations. They demand a far more authentic, real-world experience online, something beyond the intent-led e-commerce as we all know today. Traditional digital ways of advertising alone are not enough anymore. To get their attention, the offering must be more authentic and interactive. There is a rising global demand for immersive shopping experiences that closely replicate the offline world online. As we have seen in other markets, live streaming commerce, conducted by very talented creators, is becoming a successful way to meet that demand. The success of live commerce is evident from the way it has exploded in China. It has changed the retail industry and become one of the most dominant sales channel in just 5 years. There is significant traction for live commerce in the US market now. And while it's still nascent in India and Southeast Asia, it is slowly but surely gathering steam with a projection to reach 40 billion by 2025. With the intent to disrupt online shopping, we are bringing together creators, commerce, and entertainment in a virtual mall-like experience on Reposo. At Reposo, the creator will always be the hero. We want Reposo to be the platform of choice for these enterprising and talented creators. We aim to enable them to not just be creators, but entrepreneurs who are extremely skilled at influencing buying decisions and are entrepreneurs at their core. We want to power the creator economy with multiple differentiated entrepreneurship opportunities on Reposo, whether through live entertainment, live commerce, or various other means, and give them the opportunity to scale through the 150 million Glance active user base and through Glance Live. For example, a young fashion designer from NIFT who wants to bring her latest collection to the generation now. She live streams from a boutique in Jaipur for consumers to buy from her pop store on Reposo. Similarly, an indie rapper from Punjab can perform live on Reposo and can sell live concert tickets right on the app itself. Another example, a fitness enthusiast in Mumbai who is a health coach and trains online. He takes live master classes and builds his own store, pop store on Reposo to sell fitness merchandise. Let us show you a sneak peek into the Reposo experience. Thank you.
We are Gen Now. And we like to be on top of everything that's in. We live the now. Shop the now. Create the now. Feel the now. And now we can own it all. Own it now on Reposo, a creator-driven entertainment commerce platform for Gen Now. On Reposo, you don't just discover what's in, you become a part of it. Like something you see? Buy the latest look from your favorite influencer instantly. Get closer than ever as celebs and creators go live. Fans gain fan points, buy gifts, and move up the fan leaderboard.
Today is Thursday.
Superfans get VIP access. Discover a whole new world of buying on Reposo. Shop from creators through their live stream. Be there for live launches of celeb brands.
Also for your health, intrinsic factors, it helps.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is switch this on in the morning.
I think a lot of people have, a lot of issues after, the next day after they wake up in the morning because probably they've had a heavy meal.
Buy from their own labels. Have experiences that you don't just feel, but own. Be a part of live events and own merch from the event as it happens.
See the crystal raindrops fall and the beauty.
So, welcome to the world that just doesn't keep you on top of everything now, but lets you own it to make it your own. Reposo. Own it. now.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the show. Today we have with us one of our top live streamers on the Reposo platform, Digvijay. Digvijay is not only a health coach and an online trainer, but he's also been with us since we launched live, and is one of our top live streamers. And we definitely wanted to hear Digvijay's perspective on how the industry is shaping up and what it looks like for brand. So thank you, Digvijay. Thanks a lot for taking out the time to be with us today. Would love if you can give a quick round of introduction to all our audiences here.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction, Mansi. And hi, everyone. I think it's amazing working with Reposo, and my experience has been great. And just a quick introduction of mine. I am a health coach. I'm a holistic health coach. I make healthy recipes. I help people all around the world to make their life healthier. And also, Reposo in during my childhood when I was growing. I'm so sorry. Growing up, I used to participate in a lot of different events. I used to be in fashion, and since my father was in the army, so I used to do a lot of things. So I think Rupos has given me the chance to really, explore those things again. And apart from being a health coach now, I'm doing live commerce with Ruposo. And I'm a certified personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach. I'm a yoga instructor, aerial yoga instructor. I'm a certified nutritionist, and I also deal with Ayurvedic nutrition. So I do a combo of everything. Also, a few more things like certified Zumba instructor and also animal flow instructor. So yeah, this is my qualifications in the field of fitness. And apart from that, I just create content to make people healthy and something that improves their life. That's
Thank
my
you.
quick
Thanks a
introduction.
lot for that, Digvijay. In fact, it has been our pleasure to have you with us through this journey. Uh, Digvijay, as you have been with Reposo for quite some time, I think, and overall, if you see the industry, it has moved, or it moved from long form content to short form content, and now there's a new form of live content, live streaming, which is coming up. So, wanted to hear your perspective, especially as you have been doing live streaming for the last few months, what your experience has been, and how, as a creator, how are you seeing this format evolve for you?
It has been an amazing experience. I think 5 years back, if you would have told me, short form content or even content creation is a career that people can pursue. So I don't think so anyone would believe it. People were still doing it, but not a lot. But right now, I think short form content is definitely blowing up. But we can definitely see that live streaming is something that people are also enjoying, and because in that you can just be your authentic self. There are no filters. You don't have to cut out things from a big video and just show the best part. You can just be yourself, show yourself, interact with the audience, and it's all live in real time. You can interact with the community, you can just be yourself, you can share whatever you want to share. So I think live streaming is something that is really picking up, and people are making full use of it. People are selling things online, people are doing charity events, people are collaborating with a lot of other streamers, creators, and I think this is something which is really exciting and definitely has a big career and a big future ahead. And I think in different platforms you can still see this growing, but e-commerce definitely, Ruposo is definitely trying to just be a pioneer, and I'm sure Ruposo will be with the way we are going, for sure. I really hope.
Thank you, Digvijay, and yeah, absolutely. We also feel that, especially the authentic self that all of you are bringing to consumers on live, is what we are seeing consumers really engaging with, and hopefully that will result in a lot of transactions on the platform. From a monetization standpoint, Digvijay, as we spoke about commerce, we have seen, especially in the creators, the ecosystem, the overall content ecosystem, advertising and influencer marketing was one way for creators to monetize and earn. In live stream, how do you see commerce actually playing a big role in fueling creator economy? And as creators, are you excited about the opportunity that live commerce brings to the table?
I guess yes. So what happens is, like, if I see myself, if I go to let's say XYZ app, I see some product, Maybe there are a few models who are just showing it, but I'm still thinking, how would it look real time? How would a person use it? A few things, okay, we know, like, like on Reposo Live, I've demonstrated a lot of products. So I think some things that we won't be able to really see, and we won't really, know the usage when it's a static image. While if you're doing a live and showing and demonstrating that, you can speak so much about it and you can show it in real time. So I think it's very exciting. And for our generation, we want to know everything. There's so much of information, we want everything. And when we see that thing in real time, we if it excites us, we'll take it, right? Because people are if people like something, they take it. They don't really wait. Not a lot of people have patience, and I think that's why people really like shopping. And I think live shopping is something that really is exciting. It's something new. So I think a lot of people are, we as creator are excited, and also people as buyers are really excited to just experience this whole thing. And I think so, yes, it's pretty interesting how you can shop hassle free. And like, I'm talking about Reposo because that is what I'm working with. It's very hassle free. If you have been, like, I have also used it, I've also seen how is the experience. So it has very, it's very smooth. So that is something that I really enjoy as a, if I'm a customer, if I'm a audience, I really enjoy the whole process. So I think both the creators and the consumers are enjoying the whole process. And it's pretty exciting how you can just speak so much about it. And I remember this last time I was demonstrating one product. They told me, okay, this is a torch, and these are the usage. But I told I have a army background. My father, grandfather won the army. So I went to a lot of adventure camps. So and apart from that, I also worked with a corporate company as a in my graduation. So over there, what I understood was that a torch it can be a survival tool. People, especially females or males at night, if they are walking that dark road, it can really come in handy. You can make it a lamp. You can, you can just keep it, and it is pretty handy. So you just could speak so much about it. Whereas if I show you a static image, you won't be able to speak a whole story about it. It's just a picture. It's what you perceive. But over here, you can really, talk about it, and you can really narrate the whole story. So I think that is what is really exciting for me. That story.
Absolutely, that's the beauty of live. It's storytelling, and
Exactly.
shopping combined. Very very beautifully said, Digvijay. And as you mentioned, I think as a health coach, do you foresee brands, especially let's say with gym equipments or even wellness products? Do you see brands endorsing or brands adopting a format like live commerce to also reach out to their audience, given it is so interactive, and for consumers to actually see the products live by experts like yourself?
Yes, I have done for other platforms, like not really live, but yes, I have done some lives also, but not for a vast audience. I've done for, let's say, some XYZ brand. They came to me, they were like, these are products, because I also make recipes. I also train people. So, I could, during the live, I demonstrated the products. But it was for a very small audience. It was not where you can buy things, but, I have done this, and people really enjoy. And I could see the retention rate was also really high, because what will happen next, how will you make it, how can we use it. Because you can speak so much about it, and you can just be so candid. And that is what I really enjoy about the whole live thing. Where brands, they can get they just get their products, and you are the one who can narrate the whole story. And every person can have a different story and different way of talking about it. So I think that has a really good future. I have been doing it in the past as well, for food products, and also for fitness equipments. I've done for both, and it has been really exciting.
Great. No, this is super helpful, Digvijay, and I'm sure our brands and partners out there would love to also adopt this format and see the future of live e-commerce. And I hope our journey together on Reposo really goes a long way. And we wish to have you as a top live streamer for years to come. So thank you so much, Digvijay, for interacting with us and taking out this
My
time. It
pleasure.
was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Hi everyone, I'm Rajesh Pantina and I lead InMobi's marketing efforts in the Asia Pacific region. While Vasta and Mansi shared some exciting insights on what will shape consumer behavior in the coming year, I'm here to talk to you about the most critical themes for marketers over the next 12 months, namely being purpose-led and building mobile marketing maturity. Now, undeniably, the last 20 months or so have been a cataclysmic time for individuals, organizations, and humanity as a whole across the globe. And 2020 taught brands innumerable lessons on how to pivot and reach consumers by harnessing the power of digital in the new normal. But 2021 made us take a pause and rethink the crucial pillars of marketing. As marketers across India went back to the drawing board, one truth emerged. Authentic brands stand the test of time. My fellow marketers must be all too familiar with the 4 Ps, which have long determined how brands define their strategies and actions. But in today's rapidly evolving world, they are not enough. The new normal has led to the resurgence of the 0th P, which is purpose. And in this new reality of the post-pandemic era, brands must acknowledge that the world is not as we knew it. Thus, the situation requires us to approach our strategies more sensitively, taking stock, rethinking what is not only appropriate, but also going out of our way to see how we can empower not only customers, but humanity itself. This may seem like a tall order, but we've seen that if put into action, as have leading purpose-led brands done, by going beyond the typical brief to truly ensure lasting impact, they can make a difference. Let's look at how leading brands have put their purpose to practice in partnership with InMobi.
Launched in 1978, Kingfisher is the name that's synonymous with beer in India. Over the years, the brand has come to stand for excitement, happiness, and camaraderie in people's lives. So, when a nationwide lockdown was announced in order to flatten the curve of coronavirus cases in India, it was imperative for brands like Kingfisher to play their part in battling the pandemic. As it stood, awareness about the virus, its effects, and associated safety measures were drastically low in the affected areas. Kingfisher aimed to spread awareness about the most important measure for fighting the virus, shelter at place. As app usage across the country surged due to the lockdown, Kingfisher launched a mobile-friendly campaign with InMobi. The brand identified 3 key audiences for this campaign: restaurant and pub visitors, music lovers, and social media and gaming enthusiasts. The audiences were tasked to keep a Kingfisher bird, the brand mascot, at home in a gamified ad experience. They controlled the bird's movement by swiping on the screen. The ad also encouraged direct social sharing from the creative. Consumers were reached in residential premises such as apartments, condos and houses, and gated communities, and on news, entertainment, music, and gaming apps, using location and appographic targeting. The innovative campaign yielded spectacular results with 13 million views in just 10 days. It recorded 350% higher interaction rate than average, leading to an average dwell time of 3 minutes and 10 seconds and over 80,000 shares. Kingfisher achieved its goal of raising awareness among millions of users in a fun and engaging manner.
Introduced over 86 years ago in Indonesia, Lifebuoy knew it has a critical role to play against COVID-19. COVID cases were rapidly increasing across the archipelago despite months of public service announcements. The brand knew that these generic messages were not making the impact required. Lifebuoy took on the ambitious goal of personalizing the awareness program to each Indonesian. The brand partnered with InMobi to launch the COVID Action Readiness Evaluator, which combined multiple data sources to formulate the Care Preparedness Score. First, Lifebuoy leveraged InMobi Pulse to run weekly surveys across 6 regions in Indonesia. The survey was based on 5 key indicators focusing on social distancing and hygiene measures. With participation from 62,000 respondents, Lifebuoy now understood the behavior of citizens. Additionally, the brand evaluated footfall in leisure destinations. The brand also closely tracked the growth in new cases. Combining these sources of data, each region was assigned a Care Preparedness Score. Lifebuoy then identified 4 audience segments to reach decision makers across homes: young mothers, older moms, single millennial females, and males. Lifebuoy chose to release a series of ads on 3 key messages: social distancing, hand washing, and overall COVID preparedness. Taking into account the CARE score, growth in cases, and the target group, Lifebuoy launched 72 unique video ads programmatically. Lifebuoy took this experience one step further by helping users make purchases at the end of the video. The campaign drove incredible results. The brand recorded 14.1 million completed video views, reaching 6.85 million Indonesians. Lifebuoy smashed all expected benchmarks by driving 1 million visits to the product page and converting a whopping 13.7% of users who visited the website to Lifebuoy customers. What was truly phenomenal to see was that over time, the cases in 4 key provinces declined as the CARE preparedness score results improved, showcasing how data-led marketing can drive true impact.
COVID-19 outbreak 2020 brought everything to a standstill. After 11 months, the Mumbai local was opening itself up, with people touching railings, counters, benches. They posed a grave threat of contracting the virus. Domex, with the power of eliminating 99.9% of the coronavirus, decided to wipe out this threat. Domex disinfected some of the busiest stations of Mumbai, with 3 million people commuting daily. A crew of disinfectors sanitized the station platforms, counters, railings, staircases, benches for 18 hours every day. But our initiative could still get missed. So, we grabbed the attention of these commuters hooked onto their phones with a touch of reassurance. Introducing the Domex Disinfection Alert System. Using polygon mapping and a time-based programmatic approach, we targeted these commuters with personalized messages in real time, with a clear messaging of when exactly the station was last disinfected. GPS signals of the users were identified to ensure that it falls within the coordinates of a defined polygon of the station. Lat-long signals collided with the API's feed of time of last disinfection. The API tracked the difference in the time of disinfection against the present time. Only those app cohorts which were most consumed at the stations were targeted with our time-triggered message. Domex targeted people with millions of unique creatives.
डोमिक्स के बंदे ना बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं.
Definitely feels it.
What you have now seen are great examples of not only putting purpose to practice, but also being extremely customer first to be able to meet them where they are. And that means building mobile marketing maturity. Building mobile marketing maturity needs you to do 4 things. 1. Think in-app first. 2. Invest in programmatic marketing. 3. Leverage mobile video and gaming advertising. And 4. Activate data-driven personalization at scale. Let's deep dive into a few of the elements that we are most bullish about at InMobi, ones which will truly help you connect with consumers. Mobile video is undoubtedly the biggest weapon in the arsenal of marketers today. Be it dancing to a fun 30-second challenge, connecting virtually with loved ones, or streaming full-length feature films, we are witnessing a video consumption explosion around us. Much of this change, heralded by mobile, has made video experiences more up-close and personal than ever before. Since the lockdown, consumers have spent more and more time on their mobiles, 37% higher than the pre-lockdown period. And mobile video ads have also witnessed a 112% higher click-through rate when compared to other formats. This growth in consumption and engagement have led to a 194% growth in investments by advertisers in the last year, offering highly engaging ad experiences for consumers. Brands that have been early to move with the change and invested in mobile-first video campaigns have definitely gained an advantage. Be it 360-degree, interactive, interstitial, in-feed, rewarded or outstream, there is always a video placement and experience for every advertiser and their own unique needs. But when choosing the video orientation, length, placements, or even the audiences, there are several critical factors that advertisers need to keep in mind for doing mobile video right. Here are our top tips for how brands should plan their mobile campaigns. The first question that often arises is, should your mobile video be landscape or vertical? As they say, it depends. Landscape video drives a 47% higher CTR compared to all other ad formats. It is also very easy to convert core assets from your conventional media plan and press play on any campaign when it comes to mobile video. However, the right in-app placements such as rewarded videos and usage of mobile features such as gyroscope, location, etc. will mean an even better engagement and outcome with landscape video. Now, what you also need to remember is that being customer first means that you need to understand every nuance of the mobile behavior of consumers. Now, how often do you tilt your phone to the landscape mode when using it? There's the realization, right? While much of the conventional video assets have been built for TV and desktop planning, vertical videos, when married with the right vertical video format and in-app placements, will deliver the much needed seamless experience for users when they are using it in their portrait mode. The second most critical aspect of doing mobile video right is that in video, as in life, timing matters. Based on the goals that you have for your campaigns, you have got to choose the right video length. Short, powerful videos of 10 to 15 seconds can be a great way to drive brand recall with your audience. While longer videos of 15 to 30 seconds can be a great way to help your audience understand your proposition in detail, drive consideration and action. And our last tip on mobile video is to leverage mobile native technology. By focusing on technology that is native to mobile and in-app, brands can ensure that consumers are able to receive a seamless experience and drive better media efficacy. The inherent nature of mobile devices makes them perfect for delivering immersive video messaging with relevant brand actions that are relevant to a consumer's current location or maybe context. By leveraging the combined power of sight, sound, and touch, mobile devices can really deliver personalized experiences that allow brands to truly differentiate themselves in a cluttered space. By continuing to run ad campaigns that are not interactive or not optimized for mobile native environments, brands are definitely losing out on the opportunity to truly engage their users and maximize ROAS. Now the question is, what does it really look like when all three factors come together, right? We let our friends at Royal Stag show you.
A star brand since its launch, Seagram's Royal Stag from the house of Pernod Ricard India is an iconic deluxe whiskey brand in India. The brand has been inspiring young Indians for decades with its iconic philosophy, "It's your life, make it large." Royal Stag pushed boundaries by bringing global icons Ranveer Singh, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, Kane Williamson, McDonald Wanyama, Diva Dhawan, and young OHM together to share how they made it large as a part of a thought-provoking ad campaign. The brand chose to leverage the always-on medium of mobile to build a deeper connection with consumers and increase brand consideration. Royal Stag, InMobi, and Wavemaker came together to launch a mobile-first video ad campaign to achieve this objective. Through InMobi audiences, the brand identified internet-savvy audiences, millennials, business park employees, shopping enthusiasts, and gated community residence dwellers as the target audience. The brand launched 30-second video ads featuring global icons as they narrated how they made it large in their lives. Additionally, as a brand that understood shifting consumer behavior, Royal Stag recognized that 45% of mobile users in India turned to gaming during the lockdown. Hence, the ads were delivered across India's top-rated gaming apps, offering the brand great scale combined with enhanced brand safety. while the right mix of rewarded and non-rewarded horizontal video ads ensured a non-intrusive experience. Optimizing the ad delivery during peak days amplified the ad visibility. The brand reached 2 million unique users in just 30 days, recording a 1.4x higher video completion rate than benchmarks. The campaign clocked in an astounding 4 million completed video views at 50% lowered costs. Royal Stag increased brand consideration through this phenomenal campaign and continued to stand out as a brand that inspires millions to make it large in their lives.
Hi everyone, I am Jayesh Ulatal and I lead InMobi's India business. As you know, a key element in building mobile marketing maturity is activating data-driven personalization at scale. In this day and age, data maketh marketing. But for brands that are not digital native, the ability to communicate with their core target audience in the mobile world with hyper-customized messaging at scale remains a unique challenge. Activating first-party or other data means that brands can tap into a captive audience eagerly awaiting the personalization they have signed up for. With the rapid digitalization in India, India's most iconic brands are integrating digital capabilities with different aspects of their business. How they manufacture, how they engage with their consumers, how they market. Non-digital brands of India have their strategic priorities focused on foraying into direct-to-consumer D2C retailing, building e-commerce capabilities, and leveraging data to engage better with their consumers and to strengthen consumer relationships. As mobile is now the primary screen for millions of Indians, especially women, across urban and rural India, brands must aim at leveraging the power of mobile to identify and engage connected consumers intelligently. Here is a peek into how Godrej Consumer Products Limited partnered with InMobi to achieve personalization at scale using mobile.
As the entire world came to a standstill in 2020 in the face of COVID-19, staying home and staying safe became imperative for citizens across the globe. This dramatic change in lifestyle led to two major changes in the behavior of Indian women. First, the feeling of immense responsibility for the health and wellness of their families magnified. Second, the increased time spent at home meant they shifted from appointment-based TV viewing to consuming on-demand video, OTT, and casual gaming apps on their smartphones. In fact, women were now extremely comfortable in discovering vernacular content across platforms. For Godrej Consumer, women were the predominant influencers and decision-makers in the extremely low-involvement home insecticide segment. As a leading player with powerhouse brands such as Goodnight and Hit, the key objective of Godrej was to reinforce the need to maintain a clean and insect-free home to avoid vector-borne diseases, ensuring that nothing escapes one's radar while battling the virus. The core challenge lay in building brand salience within a low-involvement category amidst a high-clutter environment. To establish meaningful connect in this fast-paced environment, Godrej had to embark on a digital transformation journey. Godrej launched a threefold mobile-first strategy to execute this mission. Leveraging over 2,000 high-value data attributes on InMobi audiences, the brand accurately identified women from NCCS A category households in a hyper-connected world. Combining the power of sight, sound, and touch, these audiences receive personalized communication via vernacular videos. Godrej launched 3 unique videos for 7 brands in 5 languages, creating 105 mobile-first creatives. Finally, by marrying the brand's first-party data and InMobi's data signals, especially around ad engagement, Godrej built custom audiences and phased out a sequential targeting strategy to drive action among users with high brand or product affinity and intent. While Godrej successfully leveraged programmatic to drive awareness, engagement, and consideration, it also chose to validate the success of its campaign. To achieve this, Godrej conducted a survey to benchmark the quality of their first-party data residing in their AI CDP. Additionally, unlike other platforms, InMobi Pulse helped Godrej capture qualitative feedback around the perceptions and preferences of their consumers. The qualitative insights revealed the success of online video. 91.2 million personalized videos were viewed, leading to 380,506 hours of content consumed. That's the length of nearly 190,250 feature films viewed by Godrej's audience. The campaign delivered an incremental reach of 25% and a 50% increase in effectiveness with personalized video ads. The campaign drove 2.48 times the engagement when compared to benchmarks. Godrej clocked a 22% higher brand recall for their brand Kala Hit, with 10% of the users moving from top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel. The home insecticide category saw a 15% growth in the last fiscal year, with the combined efforts from the integrated digital marketing campaign, making this an immensely successful campaign for Godrej.
A Godrej product is not unheard of in any Indian household, and Goodnight, Hit are their flagship products in the home insecticide segment. As we all know, the home insecticide segment is an extremely low involvement category, with women in the Indian household being the predominant purchase influencer or decision makers. Women who are constantly on the vigil for their family's safety. They initiate the demand for the product, the purchase, and the utilization of the product. The brand wanted to build brand recall and salience for its household insecticides in a COVID-centric, high-clutter environment where dengue and malaria and other diseases remained a threat. Godrej Consumer Products wanted to 1. Break through the existing clutter of COVID-related communication in the segment. 2. To engage meaningfully with the core TG across mobile. And 3. Ultimately, staying on top of mind and relevant to consumer for influencing purchase during the moment of truth by marrying data, creative, and vision using technology. GCPL activated full funnel efficiencies to drive brand and performance marketing through the right combination of media, data, and creatives on the InMobi platforms. A simple 4-part framework made all the difference. The brand identified premium, high-intent audiences to reach across India, delivered a powerful message to the audience through mobile-first and regional video, drove sequential targeting strategies to achieve precision targeting at scale, and conducted a brand track study to validate the impact of programmatic marketing. When taking stock of the campaign, the results were transformative. The results showed that personalized online videos delivered a significant 22% higher ad recall for the Kala Hit campaign, and that for the home insecticide category saw a 15% growth in revenue through this integrated campaign where mobile video was primal. Godrej Consumer Products Limited intends to expand this to various other categories and double down on real-time consumer intelligence and analytics.
Hi everyone, I'm Srishna and I lead InMobi's integrated marketing efforts in the region. Over the last 45 minutes, we've been discussing the most crucial trends that will define the Indian advertising ecosystem. Yet there's one theme that we haven't touched so far, and that is the massive unicorn boom led by digital native brands in India. In 2011, InMobi was the first and only unicorn in the country. 11 years later, we're not as lonely, as there were 43 Indian unicorns minted in 2021. As these digital native brands enter a phase of hypergrowth, today we're in conversation with someone who's been observing these developments from extremely close quarters. Hi Naveen, it's great to have you. Could you please share a quick introduction of yourself and then we'll get started.
Thanks, Rishna. It's amazing to be here as someone who's had a vantage point and been looking at the startup ecosystem boom over the last many years. As a quick introduction, I'm Naveen Madhavan, VP and GM of Growth Platforms at InMobi. I've spent over 8 years here, and it's been truly amazing to see the evolution of the ecosystem both in India and globally over this time. More than the number of 40 unicorns itself, what is truly interesting to me is the categories that India has come up with in terms of innovation in the last few years. Just in the consumer side, we have unicorns spanning fintech, crypto, social commerce, entertainment, and so on. And at the same time, in the last few years, we've seen India becoming the hub for B2B SaaS, delivering magnificent results for enterprises across all of their needs, marketing, finance, operations, and so on. As someone who's really had the opportunity to sit by and see this ecosystem grow, I'm really looking forward to what this means for all of us, not just as a partner, but as a consumer, because this has definitely made my life easier. With many of these new brands really delivering experiences on digital mediums, I think performance marketing is something that's going to become interesting this year, and we're going to see it take many interesting shapes as we go forward. To deliver growth, every digital native brand that we're seeing growing has to master the art of performance marketing, which is the balance of delivering the highest lifetime value at the lowest customer acquisition cost in a consistent and predictable fashion. Given that there is no real secret potion or magic formula to do this, I know that every marketer in the country and globally is spending most of their time experimenting to identify the right creatives, channels, and strategies that work for their brand at different points in time in their life cycle.
Great. So I think, I mean, you've really set some incredible context. And like what you said, I think at the very end, just that articulation of the challenge that marketers face today, and especially performance marketers, right? What do you think they're like, and what is really on the mind of performance marketers today?
Yeah, I think what we've seen with the growth of the mobile app ecosystem is that there is no easy answer to growth. What marketers and brands are discovering is that the number of options, and by options I mean channels, medias, platforms that they have to invest into for growth, is really very high. This means that the ease of measuring the outcomes is not as straightforward as what it was previously. It's not just the channels, it's the granularity of data that each of these channels bring forward too. That means that the uncertainty is quite high. Of course, the biggest benefit of digital marketing is that there is very easy measurement of ROI, that is the return on investment, and that's what determines the life of every marketer, and that's the metric that their CFO and CEO are chasing them consistently on. I think the biggest challenge that we are faced with in a market like India, where on an average at least 20 plus channels are being experimented with by every performance marketer, is to figure out how to measure marketing ROI in a clean, simple, and consistent fashion. And this is very important because without this, their lives today are extremely complex, and they're really struggling to grapple with the numerous data sets that's available in front of them on a daily basis. At least to me, this is what I think is going to be the biggest challenge that is currently being solved for across brands and platforms alike.
Got it. And I think you touched a little bit about, sort of the unique challenges in India, but do you find that they're the same challenges across the globe, or does it, sort of vary as you go from region to region?
The answer as always is that it depends. I would say that it's not just it's not something which is very specific to regions. I would actually categorize it as a mix of regions and the life cycle of the brand in which the marketer is involved in. There are certain commonalities in the sense that there are evolved markets or brands themselves that have moved on from chasing hypergrowth. Hypergrowth is a phase where you're just looking for massive customer adoption and looking at doing that through either paid marketing or through growth strategies that are different, that could be organic in nature. Today, such evolved markets and brands, including those in say North America or Europe, or even markets like Australia and Japan, are really looking to drive engagement and higher lifetime value on an existing customer base that they've already acquired in the past. This means that it's not about necessarily just driving growth. It's about driving growth in the right fashion and also measuring growth in the form of different cohorts. And by cohorts, I mean looking at how users who've acquired 7 days before are behaving differently from those that have been acquired 30 days before or 90 days before. Hence, measuring your loyal users, your new users, your repeat users, and likely different phases of life cycle both for the user and the brand to make sure that you're delivering the right marketing strategy across each cohorts. That I think is the story that we're seeing happen in evolved markets and brands in developing markets that have reached that stage as well, which basically means that they've acquired significant scale. Now, coming to the newer brands, many of the unicorns that I think we were just previously speaking about, for them who are especially focusing on developing markets, the priority is always hypergrowth, right? You've promised big numbers, you have a large market to go after, and it's important for you to capture attention in a market that's extremely, attention hungry, and they could be easily distracted to other options as well. Hence, for a brand like this, it's important to make sure that you're identifying growth at the right cost through the right channels. This means that you have to iterate, you have to experiment, and you have to nail down the successful ones on an ongoing basis for driving sustained growth. I think the other big challenge that is yet to happen or surface in India is the change that happened in the last year, that is 2021, with the changes that Apple introduced by deprecating IDFA, which is the constant identifier for doing digital marketing in the ecosystem. This means that data that was previously very deterministic has now become slightly more difficult to track and predict. With users having the option to opt in, it's become important for marketers to evolve their marketing to work with an ability to predict and model likely outcomes basis whatever limited data sets that are available with them. Um, it's important because privacy is really becoming a factor across the ecosystem, both for brands and for players in the ecosystem. So it's easy to brush it away saying India is not an iOS heavy market, but we really need to watch out for what that really means in terms of long term implications.
That's great. I think, you spoke about the more mature markets and what they've been focusing on, but I'd also really like to talk about, the hyper growth markets that you mentioned, and more specifically in India. I think we are in the age of a mobile first boom. And of course, that brings incredible opportunities as well as challenges. So I'd really love to hear your take on that as well.
Yeah, I think it's quite obvious today, and it goes unsaid that if you're a digital native brand, you're truly a mobile first brand, right? We're no longer in an era where, I think it is quite stale to say that you have to think of a mobile first strategy. Your digital strategy is mobile first, and it's quite an accepted reality and truth amongst all digital native brands in India today, be it groceries, be it fintech, or any other new industry that we're looking at. True disruption is happening through your smartphones. Think about groceries being delivered in less than 10 minutes, credit cards being activated entirely via an app that you're installing. Everything is being made simpler for users through their smartphones. Numbers aside, I think we've seen that numbers of unicorns aside, if you look at the number of apps and volume of apps being downloaded both on the Android Play Store and iOS App Store, India tops the charts. Consistently on a monthly basis, an Indian app has been the number one app that is being downloaded. Just that the app itself changes depending upon the category and the interest of users at that point, but India has been at the forefront of the app economy boom globally. So what this means is that every marketer who's working on a digital native brand is trying to make sure that they're capturing the attention of the users. And for that, it's important that they nail down their performance marketing strategy right. As much as virality and organic users kick in, you have to make sure that you are in front of the users and you're doing it in a measurable and consistent fashion. And that's where performance marketing kicks in. What is quite interesting about India is that unlike what I would think is the case in other markets, your media channels are not restricted to the big walled gardens such as like a Google, Facebook, or even someone like a Snapchat or a TikTok, which are not as popular or large as the first two in India. There are other options across media opportunities, which include all of your OTT platforms that are now truly mobile first. We've seen how Netflix has truly adopted a strategy which is unique just for India, because that's how smartphone first India is in terms of consumptions. And you have large publishers. By publishers, I mean app developers who are truly delivering simple utilities to Indian users. That could be, someone like a Truecaller, or even the fintech apps who are powering UPI across a PhonePe or a Google Pay, all of which are enabling advertising today to reach out to users. This means that an advertiser not only has to look at the big walled gardens, independent media publications, or OTT or utility apps, they also have to look at platforms like us, who are DSPs and ad networks who are enabling advertisers to buy inventory programmatically. That means that in terms of complexity, an Indian performance marketer's life is likely the toughest in the world, because that's something that's just going to keep happening. We are going to see more such options evolve. and they need to be smart and nimble enough to operate with this complexity. And I think the last and important one that I would like to bring back is that it's not just Apple and Google who are being concerned about privacy. Um, as recent as a couple of weeks back, the data privacy bill has been tabled in the Indian Parliament, and that has implications for the economy, for the smartphone economy, in terms of how people have to implement regulations and what kind of data is being shared and accessed by the user, by every brand from their users. We've seen that this has happened globally. GDPR was just a start. We've seen countries across Middle East and Vietnam starting to operate with these principles, and this means that we have to watch out for how global trends are evolving to make sure that we are ready as an ecosystem when it happens. You don't want to be caught unaware because this is today accepted globally, and we have enough learnings from our counterparts globally to pick up and execute.
Got it. Got it. I mean, definitely incredibly exciting times for the performance marketers who are really, in the driver's seat when it comes to the growth that these brands are facing. So, I do want to sort of, ask you a question on, what do you think is lacking in the current solutions in the market, and why do you think it's important for, for marketers to have the right data in an accessible fashion?
Yeah. See, this is an interesting one because marketers today, like I mentioned, are toying with the idea of spending on digital channels, spending on television, spending on other offline channels, which end up helping them drive their growth, right? At least on digital, I've spoken about the nature of complexity because of the fact that there are multiple channels, and each of these channels have different nomenclature and data sets on the back of which they operate. It is not easy for a marketer to bring this data together. And at the kind of complexity and scale of budgets that we're talking about in the range of crores of rupees, it's important to make sure you have accurate data because, like I was telling earlier, the reason why a CFO loves a performance marketer is because they can measure the return on investment easily. For every other channel, there is always some uncertainty around the fact that it can be done through an NPS, it can be done through a share of voice, and so on. Hence, um, instead of relying on spreadsheets, emails, and fragmented data sets, which is the current solution today, um, you need to be able to do something better, right? Because the challenge of having these solutions is that you are likely relying on the fact that either an individual is able to put it together, or that the underlying platforms themselves are giving you the accurate data, or the fact that your finance team and you are referring to inconsistent sets of data, which leads to more questions in that sense. That's the reason why it's important for every performance marketer to have their data in a very simple and accessible fashion. Because lacking that, you're actually taking decisions on incorrect data, and that will have long term implications on how your growth is actually being driven.
Got it, got it. And I'm going to bring this a little bit closer home, and I want to understand from you, what do you think InMobi is doing, in terms of actually solving some of these problems in 2022?
We always want to solve the problems that makes the life of our customers, which is importantly performance marketers, easy, right? And I think we've been trying to do different things over the many years. What happened in 2021 was that we saw how the ecosystem has been evolving and how the lives of some of our clients have truly become ridiculously complex. As a result, we considered investing into a platform and an opportunity which could end up solving for some of these problems. For those of you who did notice, we acquired a company called AppSumo, which is a UK-based analytics platform, whose primary goal is to make the life of performance marketers globally fairly simple and not complicated. It's a small startup that's been working out of UK with a large number of existing clients globally. And I think the interesting thing is that they are a platform that already has pre-built integrations with 100 plus channels. And by channels, I mean media channels, DSPs, trackers, and analytics through which every marketer today is tracking and measuring their marketing performance. The intent of AppSumer is to ensure that we can automate your daily view of marketing spends in a seamless fashion once you sign up for this platform and start using it on a daily basis. I think what we found interesting and what we hope more people in India can also start experiencing is the ability to build customized dashboards on AppSumer to solve for the need of each brand and each team uniquely. Because I think it's important that we as a platform understand that it's not the same metrics that a fintech brand cares for, or from a gaming or from media and from, like, say, e-commerce. Each vertical looks at data differently. Each vertical looks at cohorts differently. Each vertical measures ROI differently. Hence, it's important that we are able to customize these dashboards. And this is not just in categories, right? Even within an organization, um, different teams could be tracking different metrics. For the marketing team, it could just be about how the channels are doing. Whereas for the finance team, it could be about the cost. And for the product team, it could be about how adoption is changing with new features being rolled out. Hence, AppSumo brings the ability to bring in pre-configured dashboards for each user in the same platform. And we will hopefully make that a single source of truth for different teams across every organization to refer to, thus making your daily stand-ups easier because all of you are operating on the same data and your decisions are becoming far more faster. Of course, I think the simple thing that I have to be honest about is that in India, there is typically a tendency to put on an analyst or an intern who can go behind this with getting spreadsheets and emails configured to their respective leaders. But I think brands need to recognize the fact that individuals can keep up with the speed of platforms only so much. Individuals may not be as easy for them to figure out when Google changed an API, or Facebook's data is now coming in a different format, or one particular platform's data is not even updated and is stale. Hence, relying on platforms that can simplify your life is something that is important for every brand to consider investing into. And that is not just something in the context of AppSumo. And to be fully honest, I think brands in India need to evaluate beyond AppSumo alone. There are similar competitors of ours who could solve for similar problems, and you need to invest into doing that, because otherwise your life is just becoming unnecessarily complex when there are tools that can really change the way in which you operate. I think they already have clients both in gaming, finance, e-commerce, and other categories in different parts of the world, and hence there is enough interesting success that we've seen in different parts of the world. What I'm truly excited for is bringing them to India and making sure that they can fuel the growth of many brands in India and removing the bottlenecks that existing in the decision-making process for marketing today. I hope that we get more brands live on this through 2022, and hopefully the vision that we've set out with, which is to simplify the life of performance marketing teams, ends up being a reality by the end of the year.
Great, great. Definitely a lot of very exciting things that you have in store for 2022. Thanks so much, Naveen, for taking the time to speak with us today on this incredibly exciting topic. With that, we come to the end of the Building Resilient Brands event today. I want to just thank all of you for attending the session. I hope you all had a great time. We had some really insightful discussions today. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us at mobilemarketing@inmobi.com. We'll have somebody put that up in the chat box, so you can reach out to us there. And of course, you can also connect with all of us on LinkedIn and ask your questions. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today, and stay safe, and hope everyone has an amazing year ahead.